Hello, you guys. Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
How are you? Which I
Uh,
just talked to you a second ago, but for everybody else, how are you?
yeah, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Just sitting here listening to that music,
I
talking to
know, it's
chat.
good.
Gets you in the relaxed, in the
Yeah.
vibe. Hey, Judy Jetson. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Yenny and Punksy. Oh, thank you, Delana. And I saw Amber in here and the other Amber, two Ambers. Sure. I like to say hi to everybody, but let's see who I missed. Hello, Louisiana girl, Lori P. I love the look of the what do you call it? The aurora borealis, or I don't know how to say that. The northern lights.
Yes. Yeah, I love your background.
They're so pretty.
They are.
Um, I found that, I believe, looking for like cool backgrounds for summer. And hey, Slink. Yeah. But anyway, so today we are going to talk about a case of a young man named Kendrick Johnson. So this is an older case. What year did it happen? I can't even think off the top of
Um, January 11th, 2013 is when he was discovered. So he would have um it would have happened on January 10th.
Oh,
So nine
crazy.
years. Yeah.
So, and it's been opened and closed twice now. It recently just was closed again and ruled as an accident. So, Kelly and I wanted to, and Amber too, which Amber couldn't be here, but she's in chat. But, anyways, we wanted to bring some attention to this and talk about it. So, I had done a video on his case a while back, and I wanted to kind of show you guys that. Actually, it was like almost a year ago, and I was really nervous, so forgive me, but just the first few minutes, because there's a lot of information in there that I don't have, off the top of my head anymore. So maybe we can watch that and then kind of discuss along the way, and then watch some of the new things that have come out. What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I like I said, I watched a little bit of it earlier and there is a lot of good information. So it would be
Okay,
good to go back
awesome.
and just listen and go from
Yeah.
there.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Hey Shar, I hope I said hi to you, and hey Royal Blue. Judy Jetson says, I have mixed feelings on this one because the funeral home did explain everything. Thank you for covering it. Yeah, but my issue isn't even really with the organs missing. I do, that it's weird, especially with the other things like the footage, the CCTV footage missing and stuff. But Kelly and I were just talking about that backstage. It's not uncommon. They should have, but this is the thing: when they went in to do the second autopsy, he should not have been surprised that of how his body was left. They should have kept better records, notified family, that kind of thing. So it really just tops off. That's not even the issue here, though, to me. The whole issue is what took place at the school. I mean, covering it up is the issue too, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Hmm. And yeah, just the fact that, the two, well, I don't know. I know I've heard people who say their names, but Brandon and Brian, you can look up their last name, are the two really main suspects, if you will. And their father was an FBI agent. I don't know if he still is, but it just kind of leads to possible corruption. Like, what
Hmm.
strings could he have possibly pulled
Yep,
to steer
absolutely.
it in the, yeah.
So, where did you first hear of this case? When did you first hear about it?
I think just from YouTube, and I feel like it was not too recently that I've been into it, but I think I watched Kendall Ray did a video on it. Um, and I did some research for myself. I know Zav Girl did something on it. But anyway, yeah, so I just started looking into it. I'm not super familiar with it. But I feel like from what I have, dug into, I think that there's so much more to it. Just the shoulder width versus the mat, the fact that the camera footage has been altered, the fact that there are, there have been three autopsies done. The middle one, where the family had their own private person do it, found different findings than the other two. yeah, and then the witness who claimed that one of the, people that some people suspect was involved straight up told him, "Yes, my brother, harmed killed Kendrick."
Yep. And then you have the guy that went to jail after, and which I kind of explain. I don't. It's been a while since I've dug into it deep, but I remember, he had went to jail, and then he wasn't treated fairly, and then he got out, and you don't hear anything else. I don't understand. So I was like trying to freshen up a little bit right before this, and I had already shown Kelly, but it's weird when you've already talked about something, like trying to act. I don't know. It's just weird. Like when you talk to your people backstage and you're like, "How are you?" And then you get on and you're like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah, it's like deja vu.
um, so in that video, I noticed this, and I was talking to Bentley's dad, who used to wrestle. So this is how he was found, rolled up in the mat. A lot of people believe that he was rolled up into it, actually laid on it and then rolled it up. If you look at all the other mats, you'll see that they don't have this big opening, like they're trying to portray, like he fell down in and he, got stuck going after a shoe, which is what they're trying to say.
Hmm.
Absolutely doesn't make any sense. And Bentley's dad was telling me that, especially after the mats have been rolled and rolled like out and rolled back up over and over, that it would not have that kind of opening like that. It wouldn't be that stiff. It just it doesn't seem like it's possible. It's just crazy. And I have a picture of his dad actually sticking his head into the mat to show, like,
Hmm.
even if it was rolled up, like I think he said it was 15 inches and Kendrick's shoulders were 18 inches wide. He just wouldn't have fit. Um, I don't know. This case really gets me upset, and it gets me pissed off. It's like, I can't believe 2 times and you're still saying it's an accident.
Yeah. And I actually just read before we came on here that Jennifer Lewis, she is an actress, but she's also a producer and narrator on Finding Kendrick Johnson. It's a documentary investigating his mysterious death, and she's urging for Congress to investigate it. So there's a big movement of people who believe that there is so much more to this and are pushing for more and more. And his family is not giving up. They spoke out after it was re ruled an accident and
Yeah.
basically said, we're not going to stop pushing.
It's so sad though, because can you imagine, they probably don't have a ton of hope, but they're just not giving up because they can't. And yeah, Christina Randall, I haven't watched it yet, but she recently, I think, did a video on it before the ruling, I believe. Um, I feel so bad for Kendrick, that his body had been disturbed so many times for different autopsies. The autopsy photos, oh
Uh,
my God.
yeah, they're hard to look at for sure. And that, that's a whole nother debate. Like when you look at his face, there's arguments that, it is like that because he was upside down, but then there's arguments that there was trauma, to the face, same with the neck.
Yeah.
Um,
But doesn't
but
it look like his lip has been busted, like he's been in a fight? It doesn't look like just he was hanging upside down. And then when you see the neck too, I mean, that whole area, it's bruised. There's some kind of injury there.
mhm. Yeah, and then the second autopsy showed blunt force trauma to the neck. And in the witnesses, sworn written statement that he gave, he stated that they said that Kendrick was hit in the neck with I think it was like, I can't remember the weight, but a weight. And there's also evidence photos that show there could be blood on a weight. But
Yes, yeah. Um, Judy, so first of all, let me just say, I did say that there still will be holes in some, just not that big. But we cannot deny that these are the actual mats from that
mm,
school. This is the actual type of mat he was rolled up in. And if you see, they are jointed. Let me take your comments off. So they have a lot of joints in them. They're not one. Some wrestling mats are like one solid piece, which would allow for that hole a little bit easier. But right here, they're jointed, so they fold up easier like that. These are photos from the gym where he was found. This, you see this one in the back? That is the kind that I was talking about that would have the hole that's not jointed, and the hole still is not big enough. Even that one they said was inches too small. These ones are, like that. But yeah.
And another thing with this case, there was a previous fight I read today between Kendrick and one of the brothers on a bus. And then there was an issue with Kendrick possibly being with a girl that one of the other brothers was with. So there was animosity between Kendrick and this guy. So again, my theory more is that there was just some type of fight, altercation, and they fatally harmed Kendrick. Kendrick was fatally harmed and they put him in the mat. That's just my theory. Or like Kendrick was so hurt, they just rolled him up there and left him, which is just so sickening. And it's just sad to think about.
Yeah, I think that's what happened too. And I've heard that. And look, he's actually in one of the mats that doesn't have the joints. So that doesn't really that's irrelevant. But still, like I said, they measured these ones and they were around 15 inches, I believe, in diameter. And his shoulders were still too big.
Exactly.
So, okay, let me pull up that video really quickly. Let's see. First, I'll tune into another live, though. You can tune into another one or stay here, honey, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and Lee Free said the videos were clipped and the main suspects are protected by federal law enforcement officers. Yep. And that was another thing. The school handed over the camera footage, but when, an outside expert that the family used looked at it, they discovered a lot was missing. And it just makes you question why. I mean, that's just not okay.
Yep, I agree. And Lori, you're right. That's what I was saying, that he actually wasn't in one with the joints. But regardless, yeah, the hole still, it wouldn't have been big enough for him to fall down in it like that. They used those mats, they said, like for kids that didn't have money for lockers or didn't want to use their money for lockers. They would throw their stuff down in it. And that was like a common thing, kind of like when they change into their gym clothes. But I don't know. Anyways, let's watch this video and stop along the way. And then, yeah, let me see. Share. I've already got it pulled up. I was ready, you guys. Don't have to go find it. I've got two pulled up. Okay. So this is so weird. It was this is one of my first videos. I think this might have been the first live I had done really going over a case like this. So it's pretty awkward, but we'll start at like 2 minutes. And then
there we go. Okay, so on January 10th of 2013, 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson never came home from school. His mom expected him to be late because he had a basketball game, but when midnight came around, she started to worry and called 911 to report him missing. Mom tells the police he doesn't have a phone, by the way. Here is a photo of him and his mother.
He's such a handsome young man. I'm not going to pause this a lot because obviously I'm not going to strike my own video. I was reading off of like a notes I took, but he was just so handsome. Like I could totally see other guys being jealous and, like I could just see it.
Agree.
The next morning comes, still no Kendrick.
If you want me to pause
his
at any
mom
time, let
happens
me
to
know.
be a school bus driver, and he usually rides to school with her. When she gets to the high school the next day, she goes to talk to the teachers and let them know what's going on and to ask if anyone knows anything. At the same time, an officer investigating the case comes to the school to look and ask around. Also happening at this time, Kendrick's lifeless body is being discovered upside down in a wrestling mat by a teacher and his classmates. And these are the mats. They all stand up, and they said that the kids like sometimes would use them as like a locker. I think they had to pay for their gym lockers. So they would throw their stuff up on the wrestling mat, whatever. Okay. So Coach Philip Pipelo told police during his life sports class some girls had been on top of the wrestling mats, which were stacked in the corner of the gym, and they alerted other students, who then alerted him, saying they thought they had found someone in the mats. He said he climbed the mats, and once he was on top, he saw feet inside. He climbed down and started pulling away the mats from the outside, trying to get to the mat to get the person and see what was going on, and the students helped him. Once he realized the person was deceased, he got upset and couldn't remember who called 911, but he did gather the students together that the police would need to talk to. So there are many red flags that make this seem like it is much more than an accidental fall. I'm going to go through those red flags with you guys. I'm nervous.
Yes, the kids found him and the teacher. That's what I was thinking. Like, I cannot imagine that happening in my gym class at school. Or, I mean, Dude, E&D Network, I'm going to have to block you if you can't. Please be respectful. This young man has lost his life. You know, saying things like the comment that I had to remove and stuff. Just please.
Y'all forgive me because I have not done a video like this. I've got like a 10-page
weirdness, y'all.
paper I've written out that I'm going to read, and then after discuss it all with you guys and Dylan and Amanda. So, okay, red flag number 1. A Facebook post the day he was found was reported to police that said, quote, "When you start messing with the goons, bodies start showing up. Names have been retracted because they're referencing juveniles, but the person who reported the post said Kendrick had been messing with someone's girlfriend." Red flag number 2. Initially, the detective who tried to obtain the surveillance footage was not able to get it because of technical problems. It figures. So, red flag number 3. The school was supposed to hold a vigil for him, and for some reason they refused. The students were requesting it, and they wouldn't do it. Here is what they put out, an announcement to let people know they weren't going to hold the vigil, which is so strange. Why would they not want to let the kids, like, mourn their friend? I don't know. Okay, number 4, red flag number 4. The coroner was not called for 6 hours instead of immediately, like Georgia law requires, and the coroner was not happy about it. He actually said the crime scene had been compromised and there was no cooperation from law enforcement. Okay, I'm going to go back to him for a second. Red flag number 5. The sheriff came out and said there was no foul play and this was an accident before the autopsy was completed. And he said Kendrick died from being upside down. They hadn't even finished interviewing all of the students yet. And red flag number 6, his shoulder span was 19 inches and the opening of the mat was only 15 inches. So I don't know how he would have fell down.
I didn't hear what I said his shoulder span was. I was blocking someone, but did you hear what I said there?
Honestly, no, but
I think it was 18, but I don't know.
Yeah, on this article I was looking at, it said, hang on. Yeah, I think, this one said the mat was a 14-inch hole and his shoulder's 19. So 15, 18, 14, 19. Either way, the hole was much slimmer than the diameter of Kendrick's shoulders.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
I'm in there going after shoes,
right
but
now, you guys.
We'll get there. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the crime scene. Okay, one big thing. At the crime scene, there were bloodstains on the wall. Now, a test was done to show that it was blood, a blood presumptive test. But they tested and found it wasn't Kendrick's, and they did not test anyone else.
They did not test anybody else, tested against anyone else in the school.
Yeah, and I read one report where they claimed the blood was old, but I still think it should have been tested against other people, especially when you have, again, those two brothers.
Yeah, and you know what else? Think about it. How often do the people go through the school cleaning. It's like a daily thing, especially in bathrooms, gym areas, things like that. I just don't see them leaving blood up on the wall, especially like it could spread disease. I just don't see that. I never bought that because I saw the same thing when I was kind of looking into it. People claiming, well, it could have been there for who knows how long. Well, come on, there's people cleaning the school.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely suspicious to me.
Which makes no sense, but whatever. It's not the first thing in this case. There are so many things that do not make sense. Okay, now, also, which I thought I had a picture of it, but I guess I didn't. Okay, there were sneakers, 3 pair of sneakers, a pair of Adidas, a pair of Nikes, and then there were a pair of sneakers with orange shoelaces. I thought I had a photo of those sneakers, but I guess I don't. But anyways, it looked like there was blood on them, and they did do the test, and it came back negative. The interesting thing is they were not confiscated. Okay, now, this Hollister hoodie was also there. Some people have looked at some of the photos of it and said it seems like there's blood on the sleeve, but it also was not confiscated.
Kelly, have you commented so I can give you a
from
wrench?
the crime scene, which is really interesting, is he had an LG phone in his left pocket, and if you remember, his mom said he didn't have a phone. So the phone was sent to Georgia Bureau of Investigations, GBI, which I've heard that's like a local branch of the FBI.
I'm wrong there. It's the GBI is just the state police. Mo, if your hands are above your head, it would make your shoulder smaller, but I don't believe he would. I don't know. I need to look. Go ahead, Kelly.
I feel like they said one of his hands was above his head and one wasn't.
Okay, I think that is what I think you're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they were above your head, it would make them smaller, but to that, how much? And also, I don't know, it would make your shoulder smaller, but it would make under the shoulders, more wide. So I don't know about that.
I agree. And then even if like you're diving in, you'd have to wiggle. Like it just seems like he really would have had to manipulate himself to get so deep in there, because it's not, I mean, those things are very thick, and I don't know how to describe the material, but it's not like he's going into a slide or a tunnel or, it just seems like it would just kind of compress him quicker than him being able to get all the way as far as he did. And then his shoes were like above him. It just doesn't add up. His shoes were by his feet, right?
There was a pair by his feet, but there was also a pair up by his hands. There was another pair of shoes that they never even, I believe, found out whose they were. There were several shoes, and I think one had a spot on it. I might mention that here in a second. That maybe they thought was blood, but they didn't test it. Hold on.
Not sure about that, but GBI was responsible for all of the crime lab reports in this case, which is interesting. But so they sent the phone off to get forensics off of it, and there was never a report back. Now, red flag number 11,111. There was plenty of issues with the surveillance. There were time discrepancies, time gaps. Some of the footage was blurry. And CNN actually hired a specialist who said the footage was not the original footage. See, there's surveillance footage all around, all throughout the school. And apparently, this specialist says that the footage was altered. You can look it up. It's on CNN's YouTube channel. Okay.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
This is where it gets even more interesting. So, Kendrick had supposedly been in a fight before with a student named Brian Bell. Brian was caught on surveillance along with his brother Brandon near the scene at the time of the incident. Their dad, Rick Bell, is an FBI agent. So,
they
got like friends in high places all throughout the whole entire system down there, apparently.
In the whole town they do, honestly. He looks like a wrestler, kind of, he has that look.
Yeah.
The Bell brothers' mother claims they were friends with Kendrick. Here they are with their dad. Their mother claims they were friends with him. Police had tried to interview the brothers, but their dad put a stop to that. They were the only two students who were not interviewed, and they wouldn't talk to police.
That is an outrage, in my opinion.
It's crazy.
They should not have had that option.
No, they shouldn't. But it's they had him guiding them. It's like he taught them how to get away with stuff.
Yep.
Okay, and quickly before I get to a few tips that have came in, and then chat with the girls. Well, I want to talk about the autopsies. So let me see. There were the first autopsy, which I have photos of some of this, but it's really graphic. You can find anything online. You can find videos of the scene at the time. You can find photos of it. I mean, it's really, really graphic, and I didn't want to put that in here on you guys. But, okay, we'll change it off then for a minute. Okay, the first autopsy that was done, it was conducted by GBI, and it confirmed the sheriff's original theory. The cause of death was positional asphyxia. They said all organs were present and in their natural positions. Okay, so the family is not happy with that, and they get another autopsy done. It takes a little while though, but they finally have a second autopsy done. Now, all of his organs were missing. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but his organs were gone and he was stuffed with newspaper. Now, I know that sometimes if a funeral home is low on funds, I've heard of them doing like weird stuff like that. But the thing about this is GBI and the funeral home both blame each other. They both say all the organs were there when they had the body and when the body left them. And the results were very different of this autopsy. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the neck and jaw area. Okay. Now, there has been a lot of tips and a lot of people talking since this happened.
This is pretty much almost the end. I'm going to talk to you about
three main ones. So, first, right after all of this happened, police received an email saying that people were talking it was kind of, someone told my friend, like he said, she said, but you can see on the screen, it said, some people were talking saying someone killed Kendrick over a girl. The name is redacted, but it does say that the person had a brother who had gotten drunk and said the same thing, which is interesting that they mention a brother. Okay, so then this young man, Dalton Ray Chauncey.
This is crazy.
He comes to police and says he was present during a conversation where two individuals, which is also redacted. A lot of this stuff is redacted when they're dealing with juveniles until they're an adult. Like if they're a juvenile at the time of the report, it will be redacted. But we can get creative and figure out who he's talking about. So he comes to police and says, I was present during a conversation where two individuals were talking, saying they were responsible for his death and that it was over a girl. Then he goes back for a second interview and says that he lied about everything and he's arrested for lying to police. Well, his mother comes out and gives a statement saying she doesn't think he was lying. He was interviewed without her, and she thinks he was pressured to say he was lying by the police, which is interesting. And our third and final would be Ryan Hernandez. Now, this is just a little bit of his statement, but it's quite long. You can find it online anywhere. So Ryan Hernandez, this is 3 years later. Now, these people are not juveniles anymore, so it's not redacted. Ryan Hernandez says Brandon Bell told him his younger brother Brian killed Kendrick over a girl and says that Kendrick was hit with a 45-pound dumbbell in the neck. Now, remember that autopsy said blunt force trauma to the neck was the cause of his death. So he also, in his statement, calls out police and says they deleted an hour of video footage and says they had the organs removed to interfere with efforts to establish the time of death. Now, right after he gave this statement, he was arrested for trespassing, and he was not given a bond, which is weird for trespassing. You would think he would get a bond, and that's kind of where that ends.
So, yeah, every person that comes forward and tells anything ends up, these two guys both got arrested. I mean, and he didn't get a bond for trespassing. I mean, we see freaking Barry Morphew's out on bond on first-degree murder charges.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe that they're still saying this is an accident. It's complete. Oh, that's pretty much all we have to watch of that one. But I wonder if this is different from that video you sent me. We can watch this real quick and then we'll just conversate. This is only a minute long. Is that okay? Kelly?
Yeah.
So quiet. Okay.
Let's go to Georgia.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm still here. Yeah, that's fine.
Foul play in the death of this Valdosta teenager whose body was found rolled up in a...
This video is from like 2 days ago. So they investigated, called it an accident, reopened it, and now they have closed it again. And this video, is about that.
Gym match in 2013. You may remember when that all happened. The results of the review of the death of Kendrick Johnson, and Johnson's family believes the 17-year-old was murdered and that the crime was either covered up or bungled by investigators. But the official autopsy determined the cause of death was accidental positional asphyxia.
After this, while we're talking, maybe I can pull up the crime scene photos or something. We can kind of look at that.
But an autopsy ordered by the family found the cause was blunt force trauma to the neck. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations closed its case in June of 2020 with no charges filed. The sheriff reopened the case.
Seeing him looking at, just so hard to look at those photos sometimes. He just so young and I don't know.
A review last year, the family spokesperson said this new investigation was supposed to have an open door relationship with the Johnson family.
As the family remains optimistic, I am just reflecting on this missed opportunity because there was a lot of work put in to even get to that point.
He's got some pretty eyes.
And with this latest update, the case is now closed.
So. What do you think, Kelly?
It is. It's just a very, very sad case. And yeah, just the fact that they used these, people other than with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations to find this stuff, and that they did find different findings. I mean, that is just such a red flag. I thought the stuff that you went over about, those testimonies and then kind of what happened to those people, that is just so shady. Yeah, Lee Free says it's all who you know, and isn't that just so sad? Look at the Ramseys. I mean, they had money, power, and they were indicted by a grand jury, but it went away for them. It's just crazy.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Okay, I'm gonna pull up photos one at a time, like share the screen while we talk and then close it, because I can't get around the photos of his face and stuff, and I don't want to show that just because I think it'd be. I've seen people show it on their lives. It's really, you've seen it, so But
yeah, it's hard to look at.
Yeah, it is. So he had a charger as well. This is his arm, his hand, his knuckles busted. And then the blood.
That tells me a fight. Allegedly, possibly, there was a physical altercation.
I completely agree. I mean, help us get justice for our son Kendrick. I'm gonna stop it in for a minute. Okay. See what other crime scene photos I can find. What do you think about, why would they not test everything at the scene, like the clothes, the shoes? That's
right. See, I also just have a problem with how long it took for the coroner to get there. And it just makes me wonder if, I don't know. This happened, and I saw Delana say, and someone that said that she was correct, that the girl surrounding, Kendrick and the other one of the Bell brothers was the superintendent's daughter. So again, it just makes me wonder if possibly, they had already known Kendrick and the Bell brother had issues. There was a documented fight on a bus, and if possibly, they called their dad, the FBI guy, um, before calling, I don't know, the coroner and things, and just, I don't understand how they wouldn't have tested that. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but yeah.
No, I love it
Leaving out
because you speak a lot more. I don't know. I agree with everything you say. I don't think I could say it as well. So you keep saying whatever you want.
Okay. But yeah, I just don't see any logical reason for that other than corruption at the level of like the police and the people who were responding and at the scene. And
Yep.
that would link back to this FBI father of the brothers.
Yeah, and you know that they all work together. I mean, we see it like just think about Summer Wells, Gabby Petito. One police department is in charge of the investigation, but FBI comes in to help with anything that they can do. You know, the ones that are like other local offices nearby come and will help, and you know how it is. But look at his shoes. How possibly would he fall down in there and those shoes fall in behind him like that?
Yeah.
I just
know.
I don't.
And then wasn't there something, I don't know if I can find exactly, but okay, here it is. So it says one of the most baffling mysteries of this case, the black and white gym shoe that lay on the ground below Kendrick Johnson, okay, the one that he was presumed to be reaching for, was lying on top of a pool of blood, but there was no blood on the shoe itself. So they're saying, that blood, if you're going with it was an accident and he did get in there, that yes, he might have bled because he's upside down and the pooling of blood would have dripped down. But the question here is, why was there none on the shoe and the shoe was on top of the pool of blood? That would tell you the blood was there first, then the shoe was put on top.
Yeah, that is so weird. But I wonder, how would that happen? Like,
I don't know.
The shoe wasn't actually there and they just put it there. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, well, okay, do you know on the footage of him, when you can see him like before he goes to the gym, before the footage is missing, isn't there somewhere like footage of the brothers as well, like following it in close behind him? Or
I don't know for sure about that. I do think, and again, I'm not super familiar with the footage, but there was something about they're trying to say that one of the brothers, again, I'm not sure which one, was documented to be on a bus heading to, I guess it was some type of wrestling tournament, after or before Kendrick entered the gym. But then there's arguments that the timings are off and things like that with the surveillance. So I don't know. That's something I'm not 100% sure on, but I really want to look into it.
Well, when CNN, they said that. So I think one of the cameras went off at like 12 until right after 1, but then two other cameras went off at 11 until right after 1. And those two, they went off and on within minutes of each other, like a minute of each other.
Yeah.
So it I don't know. I've never been comfortable with that, and I feel like why they're not more even the guy on CNN, they were asking the like camera footage, the expert, they're like, would you be suspicious if this happened in a case? Would you be suspicious that they were covering something up? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, pretty much,
Yeah. So I just found this on the camera footage. So basically talking about CNN, like you said, they have a lot of info and footage from the cameras. But, they said that the cameras which faced the mats were unfocused and skipped around. All that could be seen from the cameras was Kendrick walking towards the gym and then several seconds of footage of him jogging within the gym. He was never shown within the gym or leaving the gym. And of course, we know he didn't show up for his classes, but they're saying that a whole hour of footage from the gym was missing right at the time that would have shed light on what happened that day. So what in the world? Like, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
And how?
Not one.
Uh,
Well, I know
Yeah.
when we created that Twitter, all I could think about was because we were talking about calling out, Colorado and the corruption. And the other one we talked about was Kendrick, calling out the corruption and the stuff with this. And I felt like, oh, at least they've reopened the case. There's some bit of hope. But now with them closing it again, it's like, what's it going to take? What kind of, like, the public needs to get riled up, but also we need bigger people looking into this. The FBI needs to be the only ones working this case.
Right. I agree. And, I like the fact that this actor is Jennifer Lewis. I mean, she's well known. She has a platform, and I don't know if the documentary is out yet or she's making it, but she's calling for Congress to investigate it.
Okay, I'm glad she's doing that. That gives me a little bit of hope. And then you have people
Right.
like Christina Randall and other big people like that speaking out about it. Okay, so here's the shoe so remember I said there was like a few pair of shoes, the two in the black and white one, and then the white one's by his feet, and then there was a pair with orange laces. This is a photo of where it was found, and there was possible blood on it that wasn't tested, which is crazy to me. That's another thing that wasn't tested. And who leaves their shoes?
I can't understand that. Yes,
either.
shoes. I mean, they're shoes.
Yeah, you're not going to leave them there unless, I don't know, unless there's a reason like that. Let's see. Door, KJ entered. His body was in this area, the hoodie. He never went to this area. Where were the weights? Was that on this back? Like, would that be right here? If you're looking at this.
Let me look. Yeah, I feel like they were around the mats. I'm not 100% on that.
Okay. I'd like to see, like, when they draw up the crime scene. I'd like to see what they drew up. I'm wondering how much of the information you can get as far as record requests.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Val, you can go somewhere with that. Yes, I do. And the information's bad at CNN. You can. Okay, then do your own research. I hope that everyone.
There's other.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's other sources beyond CNN that talk about the camera footage. So if you don't want to trust CNN, go look other places. But there's a lot of information that the camera footage was altered and messed with.
Yeah, and all of this information you can find so many places. I mean, hey Tia, I just gave you a wrench, Tia. I hope that you'll cover. I've wanted to see Tia talk about this case too, but yeah, I always want people that watch to do their own research, anyways. But
yes, same.
His face was beat up, Autumn. It really did look like it to me, anyways. The knuckles, and then I'm trying to think because there was a few other little injuries. I know his lips looked like it was busted. I don't know if they noted that, but maybe on your channel we can watch. I mean, we could do it now, but I want to leave some stuff for there, and we could watch through some of the CNN stuff.
No, I mean, if you want to go ahead and do it, we can. It does not matter to me. If you feel like doing it or you want to wait, it's completely your call, but I don't mind doing it here at all. I'm just so interested in all of this. And like I said, I've looked at this case, watched videos. It's been months ago, but then today I woke up to see that they had re-ruled it an accident, and I'm just like, what? And now I'm sucked back in as of today.
Yeah. Well, maybe a lot of people will. I'm hopeful that a lot of people will feel like that because I feel the same way. Yeah, we'll just wait to do the CNN. I want to save some stuff for over there. Hey Stephanie, I would do it now, and I could pull up anything that we wanted to look at. But also, like I said, I want to make sure we have stuff to watch over there. Oh, thank you, Tia. It is an honor to have you, my friend.
Mhm. I've seen some of Tia's channel. She's good.
Yeah,
It's
she
been a
does.
little while, but I know I've been over there.
She does commentary, but she also does like makeup and stuff. And
Yeah.
she's done a couple true crime cases. So also, there's a little boy I was telling her about that needs more coverage. His name is Damari. I did a video on it, you could see, but I've shared it on my community page too. There's so many cases that don't get enough attention. You know,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Punksy, would they have sold his organs? Now, I thought about this, and I even thought about what if they knew somebody that was in need or something like that. Show a pic of the bleachers in that gym. Okay. But also, what if they were trying to hide the exact time of death or something like that? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I kind of lean, yeah, like there was more of a cover up reason for it. They were trying to just hide something in case there was ever a second autopsy. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was both. Like, hey, let's cover this up because we're getting paid off by corrupt law enforcement.
Yeah.
And we can make some money off it too by selling them. And then the fact that with newspaper, like, yes, that happens, but it's not the most respectful way, or standard procedure is not usually newspaper. But it does happen, but I don't know. It just seems disrespectful.
So if he was hit in the neck, would the organs show that? I'm trying to think of any. I don't think any of them would have been affected, but
See, I'm not sure about all that. But I did read. I'll look for it. It might take a second. But there was just something talking about the fact that the organs were missing, and that it did affect the second. Okay, yeah. The Johnsons did try to sue the funeral home for mishandling their son's body and perhaps having done so in order to cover up his true cause of death, but the case was dropped. Regardless, the organs were lost and could not be tested during the second autopsy. So again, it does seem like maybe something could have been found. I don't know. I don't know about all that.
I can't find pictures of the bleachers. I'm trying to find them. The only one I could find is with
I have.
shoe. You have some?
Let me see. Yeah, let me. I'll just text or message it to you real fast.
Okay.
And I just saw heels in the air. I actually researched this case for 3 years. You can find the death scene video on my channel, then possibly look at renewsit.com. Heels on the heels in the air. What is your opinion on the case? Do you think it was an accident or a cover up?
Ooh, and thank you for the
curious.
information. I'll definitely check it out.
Yes. Okay, I'm sending this right now. But I see what you're saying, Jaylana, about the height. Is that what you're thinking? The height of the bleachers versus the mat? Let's see. All right, I just sent it in Messenger.
Okay, I'll pull it up real quick. And I know that new documentary is on, that came out on Vudu when it came out. So his mom is like really active on TikTok, or she was at the time. She was promoting the documentary. And I messaged her and asked her if she would come on, and she said, yeah, absolutely. I have a lot going on this week, so message me back in a week or two. Well, when I did, she didn't answer, so maybe I'm going to try to reach out to her again. Maybe she would come on here and kind of talk about it. It's just crazy that she was there when, at the school.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I sent those, but yeah, I see what she's saying about the bleachers. And I don't know if you want to show, I'll send you this so you can decide if you want to show it, but it shows the shoe on top of the blood.
Okay.
But it's kind of, it has blood, so it's a little graphic, but it's just too weird for me. It's just too much. And I, like you were asking earlier, I just cannot wrap my mind around them. Just, oh, here's this scene of this, 17-year-old almost man, basically, yeah, still a minor, but he was a bigger guy. And it's like he's in this position and there are things surrounding the scene, blood on the wall. Oh, old blood that we just don't clean. Okay, that's a biohazard, to have old blood in your school gym, but and
Yeah.
then blood on a hoodie and shoes, and we're just not going to collect that. No big deal. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
So long for the coroner to get there. It's just a lot.
it is a lot, and I just can't believe that it could be looked at twice and still. I can't wait to see what Heels on the Ground says after looking into it for that long, or Heels in the Air or whatever. Sorry
Or
about that.
heels in the air. Yeah.
I'm saving them to
I know
the
we're all used to that. Gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So she says, or he or she, her opinion is tragic accident. Interesting.
Oh, wow. Did not expect that, but I'll definitely go check out your page.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, they did reopen the case, and then there was a 16-page report from the sheriff on why, that they ruled it an accident again.
I said,
But yeah, now that I'm thinking about this,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think there is footage of one of the Bell brothers maybe walking out of the school and he's holding a bag or something, but we need to look into that.
I can't believe that they said, I'm still shocked they said tragic accident. But yeah, I definitely want to look at their whereabouts closer, but also I don't trust any of this stuff. I believe that
I don't either.
If they went, as far as what we know that they went, imagine all the other places that things could have been covered up. Now I can't find StreamYard again. I'm lost. Okay. I'm lost. I only get on here for really true crime, but okay. Share screen, share audio, share. Okay. So here is the shoe. And a Tootsie Roll wrapper.
Are you showing it? I don't see.
I should be.
I still see the one with all the mats.
Oh, okay. I think that's a overlay. There we go. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for that, because I wouldn't even have realized the overlay covers it. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to see the Tootsie Roll wrapper. Interesting.
Okay, now I need to find a better way to do this.
Yeah, I liked StreamYard, but at the same time it can be hard to navigate.
Yeah, it is. And have you ever tried any of the other ones? The other streaming apps?
I have not. I've seen other people using them, but I've never. I've seen other people use them, but I've never tried them for myself.
Yeah, I might try it. Just to experiment. But so this is where the hoodie was found, and then the mat was over here, and it was one of the blue ones, and I guess it was standing up like right there, because when it's turned over, it seems like it's like there. Okay, so the blood was here, huh? Do you see my pointer? Was this?
Yeah. And then I guess Daylana is saying like the bleachers you see.
What about the bleachers? I missed your comment. I've been able to look at the chat.
I guess. Oh, you're fine. No, you're fine. The bleachers just are low compared to the mats.
Yeah, they are.
So it's like, how did he climb up in there?
I don't know. Let's see. He just makes perfect sense to me that he could have been rolled up. They were panicked. They didn't know what to do, and just quickly to get him, like, clean the scene up roll him up real quick, stand it up, and go about
Right.
your day. Okay.
I just don't feel like, that. I mean, there's a lot of people who are not buying the narrative that they've given us. A lot. But yeah, the camera stuff is something I definitely want to look into, and the brothers and all that, where they were.
I guess I saved the same picture twice. What was the other one I was gonna pull up? I don't even remember. Let me turn off my. Like, I'm so afraid of like accidentally. You see people all the time accidentally showing things they don't mean to. So I don't want to show my
Yes.
messages or anything. The blue mat is what he was in, not the
I've
yellow
done that
one.
before.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Heels in the air. So all the ones that were showing
Yeah.
were like the yellow, and he was in the blue. I know there was 3 pictures I was gonna show. Emily's mom keeps calling. I've got my niece. Hold on one second. Let me mute for just a second.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, I know for me, the next step into this case I really want to go into is the camera footage. And then just more about that witness who, what he stated.
Okay. I couldn't hear you, Kelly. Good old small
Oh,
town
you're fine.
cover up couldn't convince me otherwise. I agree, Granny. Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, and I know Granny's watching. I was just gonna real quick say I know Granny's watching. She's one who really, gives the benefit of the doubt a lot in these cases. So for her to say that,
I know
means
that
a lot
surprised me too.
to me, at least.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah,
I totally agree. We have a delay. I'm sorry.
and I
don't know.
appreciate. Yeah,
Go ahead. We have such
no,
a big
you're fine. I was
delay.
gonna say I appreciate her, approach to cases. No, you're fine.
I do too
I'm
because
gonna be quiet now. So
it's so hard. Well, I was getting ready to wrap it up anyways. Emmy and Bentley are in there being wild and crazy, but I totally agree. And she always looks at things from like kind of like the Glare. He has a very similar outlook, and a lot of times it's different from mine, but like
yes,
it helps me figure out my theory, like having these people with such opposite theories close. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, agree.
The blood patterns around the edge of the mat consistent with rolling. See, I had a picture pulled up of the bottom of the mat, but I thought maybe I shouldn't show that. But hey, Lynn, I really do. This case, there's no credible doubt. Okay, well, I guess we can wrap it up, and then we'll do a part 2 on yours. And I'm gonna keep talking about it here too.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop until something happens. I don't know. Tia, they had just opened it up and closed it again, ruling it an accident for the second time, like within the last couple of days.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me on to go through this with you. I really appreciate it. And I always just love talking to you about anything, but, especially true crime. It's nice to talk with you and then just see everyone in chat and hear their opinions also.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you for coming on here with me. I always love talking to you about anything too. Wish Amber could have came on, but because you guys have such a good dynamic together. I don't know, but I love you guys separate too, so it's okay. And then we can just let me know when you want to do it on your channel, and yeah, I'll be ready whenever.
Yeah.
But
Sounds
okay.
good.
Well, thank you, Kelly, and I hope you have an awesome night. And thank you, chat. Go ahead. So sorry.
Yes, thanks, Allie, and bye. You're fine. I'm gonna say bye, and then I'm gonna go. So, bye, everyone in chat, and yeah, thank you, Allie, and I'm sure I'll message you again tonight. So, talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye, Kelly. Oh, that was so awesome. I'm sorry, you guys. It was kind of like my awkward old video that I played, which there were things like those confessions I want to talk about. And then I hate when there's a delay because I never want to talk over my guest. I don't know. I love Kelly and I know she doesn't take offense to it or whatever. And she knows how it is, but still, it just feels so rude. It's like you keep talking accidentally over the other person. But anyways, I really do. Let me do one thing really quick. I really do appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me and kind of talking about this. And if you are a creator and you have a channel, please talk about this. Please, because it needs so much more attention. We see these cases that get tons of attention. And then we have these other cases that nobody wants to, really listen to. They're all equally important. So yeah. Anyways, I love you guys and I hope you have an awesome night. Stay warm. We're getting snow here. And I know Kelly was getting some snow there too. So there's snowstorms all over. So yeah, anyways, I love you guys and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Oh, thank you, Sandy Beach. All right, guys. Bye.